As we gear up for another exciting season of Dallas Cowboys football, speculation is swirling around quarterback Dak Prescott and his potential to capture that elusive MVP award. With Prescott set to turn 33 this July, fans have to wonder how many more chances he'll have to solidify his legacy with the highest individual honor in the NFL. So, where are you watching from today, Cowboys Nation? And what do you think about Dak's MVP chances? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. The talk of Prescott as a potential MVP candidate is gaining traction, especially after his impressive second-place finish in the voting just last year. According to Bleacher Report's Mo Moton, Prescott is seen as one of the top 5 players who could finally snag that MVP title in 2026. Moton believes that with a balanced roster, the Cowboys have a legitimate shot at reclaiming the NFC East title and winning double-digit games. If Prescott can keep his passing numbers strong, he'll certainly put himself in the conversation for the award. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. While it's absolutely within the realm of possibility for Prescott to contend for MVP honors, it's essential to recognize that the success of the entire team hinges on more than just his performance. The previous season highlighted the fact that a lackluster defense can derail playoff ambitions, and Prescott's MVP aspirations are directly tied to the Cowboys' overall success. The front office has made strides to bolster the defense, bringing in key additions at edge rusher, safety, cornerback, and linebacker. The arrival of Christian Parker as the new defensive coordinator gives hope that our defense will rise to the occasion after the struggles experienced under Matt Eberflus. If the offense lives up to the high expectations set by fans and analysts alike, and the defense performs even at a mediocre level, we should expect an end to the Cowboys' 2-year playoff drought by the time 2026 rolls around. But let's be clear, for Prescott to be in the MVP conversation, the Cowboys need to make the playoffs. It won't matter if he throws for 5,000 yards with 40 touchdowns if the team is sitting at home in January. Looking at the numbers, Prescott will have to eclipse 4,000 passing yards and throw at least 30 touchdowns, all while keeping his interceptions in the single digits and maintaining a completion rate above 65%. In his MVP runner-up campaign last year, he checked all those boxes with impressive precision. However, he won't be the only quarterback aiming for similar statistics. The league is filled with talent, and Prescott may need to elevate his game even further to separate himself from the crowd. One area where Dak has consistently shown his worth is in clutch situations. Throughout his career, he has demonstrated an uncanny ability to lead game-winning drives. In fact, only Patrick Mahomes, a 2-time MVP, had a higher percentage of game-winning drives in which he had to rally his team more than once during the 2024 season. When the stakes are high, Prescott has proven he can deliver, and that capability will be crucial if he wants to win that MVP. So, as we look ahead to the upcoming season, keep an eye on Dak Prescott. The ingredients for success are all there for him to walk away with that MVP trophy come February. With a revamped defense and an explosive offense at his disposal, this could be the year that Prescott finally claims his rightful place among the league's elite. Now, let's transition to our next piece of news, which also has significant implications for the Cowboys as they prepare for the season ahead.
Troy Aikman, the legendary quarterback who spent a dozen years dominating the gridiron with the Dallas Cowboys, is back in the spotlight, but this time, he's on the other side of the sidelines. As many fans know, Aikman has transitioned into a successful broadcasting career alongside Joe Buck on Monday Night Football. However, this offseason, he took on an unexpected role as a consultant with the Miami Dolphins during their roster rebuild under new general manager John Eric Sullivan and head coach Jeff Hafley. And for Cowboys fans, this news stings. It's worth noting that Aikman's connection to Dallas runs deep. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion and has a storied history with the franchise. Seeing him take his talents to Miami has sparked frustration among the fan base. After all, Aikman has always been a Cowboy at heart, and many believe he should be contributing to the team he once led to greatness. The sentiments from fans are clear. They feel betrayed that their legendary quarterback is helping a rival organization instead of offering his expertise to Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. Aikman himself expressed mixed emotions about this situation, indicating that the Cowboys would have been his ideal choice to help, given his ties to the franchise. "Yeah, ideally because it's where I live," he stated. "It's where I've played. I have a 12-year history with the organization, and then it's right in my backyard. Obviously, that would have been ideal." But with the structure that Jerry Jones has built around the organization, Aikman never genuinely expected his assistance would be welcomed. He acknowledged that while he still roots for the Cowboys, the Dolphins reached out to him, and he felt compelled to assist. Here's the crux of the issue. Jerry Jones has created a family business model for the Cowboys, wherein his children hold key roles within the organization. Stephen Jones is the Chief Operating Officer, Charlotte Anderson serves as Chief Brand Officer and Executive Vice President, and Jerry Jones Jr. is the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer. This insular approach has led to stagnation, with the Cowboys failing to return to the Super Bowl for 3 decades. The stubbornness to seek outside help, even from legendary figures like Aikman, raises questions about the direction of this storied franchise. Emmitt Smith, the NFL's all-time rushing leader and another beloved Cowboy, weighed in on the subject, emphasizing the value Aikman brings to the table. He pointed out that when a team reaches out for help, it signifies a desire for insight that might not have been previously considered. The Dolphins reached out to Troy Aikman because he can add value, Smith said. The implication is clear. The Cowboys could benefit immensely from tapping into the knowledge of their former stars. But will they ever consider that route? On the brighter side, there is a glimmer of hope for Cowboys fans. This offseason has seen improvements in the coaching staff hires, which is a step in the right direction. Yet, the overarching question remains, will Jerry Jones be willing to embrace the idea of bringing in former players for their invaluable opinions? The answer is hard to predict, especially given the history of Jones' reluctance to look outside his established family framework. As we continue to monitor the developments surrounding the Cowboys and their roster construction, it's important for fans to voice their thoughts. Where are you watching from, and what do you think about Aikman's new role with the Dolphins? Could his expertise have made a difference for the Cowboys? Let's hear your opinions as we move forward. Up next, we'll dive into the latest rumors surrounding potential trades and acquisitions that could shake up the Cowboys roster this season.
As we dive into the final segment of this analysis, it's hard not to feel a mix of excitement and skepticism about the Dallas Cowboys' recent draft strategy. With their 7 selections in the 2026 NFL Draft, the franchise made strides to address significant gaps, particularly in the secondary and along the offensive line. But the question remains, will these new additions be enough to propel the Cowboys back into contention? Fans, share where you're watching from and your thoughts on these draft picks in the comments below. Starting with Caleb Downs and Devin Moore, the Cowboys have made impactful selections that should bolster their secondary. Downs, a standout safety, is expected to be a plug-and-play starter right out of the gate. His blend of talent and high football IQ is precisely what Dallas needed to solidify a unit that had been riddled with uncertainty. Expect him to contribute in multiple roles, whether it's at strong safety, free safety, or as a nickel corner. Barring any unforeseen injuries, there's simply no scenario where Downs isn't starting for the Cowboys in 2026. He's a lock, and fans should be delighted to see how he can transform the backfield. On the other hand, the addition of Moore brings a different dynamic to the cornerback position. While he has the potential to make his mark, he faces stiff competition from players like Siobhan Revel and Darren Bland. If either struggles early on, Moore could seize the opportunity. However, with talents like Kobe Durant and Kalen Carson also vying for playing time, Moore's path to a starting job is far from guaranteed. This raises an important question for Cowboys fans. Can he rise above the competition and secure a spot in the lineup? When we shift our focus to the front 7, there's a palpable sense of optimism. The acquisitions of LT Overton, Malachi Lawrence, and Jyshawn Barham provide depth and versatility, but it's clear that Lawrence is the most intriguing prospect here. He's making the transition from a hand-in-the-dirt end to a stand-up outside linebacker, a shift that comes with its own set of challenges. While the Cowboys are certainly better off at edge rusher compared to previous seasons, the uncertainty surrounding Donovan Ezraku and Rashawn Gary means that Lawrence could find himself in a starting role sooner rather than later. However, the expectations should be tempered. He will likely start the season as the number 3 edge behind more established players. Barham, on the other hand, faces a more daunting challenge. With D. Winters and DeMarvion overshown atop the depth chart, his chances of breaking into the starting lineup seem slim, at least initially. That said, Barham's elite athleticism and pass rush ability could make him a valuable asset, especially if Overshown's injury history continues to be a concern. The potential is there, but will the coaching staff trust him enough to give him significant snaps? On the offensive side of the ball, depth at wide receiver and offensive tackle has been a persistent issue. The The Cowboys address this with the addition of Drew Shelton and Anthony Smith. Shelton's versatility allows him to play both tackle and guard, which is crucial given the uncertainty surrounding veterans like Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele, who have struggled in recent seasons. If 2026 mirrors their past performances, we might see Shelton getting a shot sooner rather than later. However, he will need to climb the depth chart and earn the coaching staff's trust, which could take time. As for Smith, the East Carolina product faces a steep uphill battle to even make the roster. Competing for a spot as WR5 or WR6 would be a win in itself, but don't count him out just yet. If he can impress in training camp, he might just carve out a niche for himself, especially if he can challenge Ryan Flournoy for the WR3 role. The Cowboys desperately need reliable depth, and if Smith can showcase his explosive skill set, he could rise through the ranks. In conclusion, while the Cowboys have made some strategic moves in this draft, the road ahead is fraught with challenges. The potential of players like Downs and Moore brings hope, but the competition for starting roles is fierce, and not every draft pick will pan out as expected. As we look ahead to the 2026 season, it's clear that the Cowboys are working to build a more competitive roster. But will it be enough to silence the critics and return to glory? Only time will tell. Be sure to subscribe for the latest updates and share your thoughts about the Dallas Cowboys in the comments. What do you think about these draft picks? Are you optimistic about the upcoming season? Let's keep the conversation going.